How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Second Assault live stream here at the DICE LA studio in Los Angeles, California. I'm Alex Mendez, more commonly known as Golden Boy, and joined with me is the wonderful and gorgeous and insanely tall Ben Jones.
You're too kind.
Yeah, too kind of DICE. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Good to see you as always. And all right, so first and foremost, we have a lot of awesome things to show from Second Assault. You were the lead designer on Second Assault. So for those who may be tuning in for the first time and not understand, like, what is this crazy thing called Second Assault? What is it? What is Ben Jones' interpretation of Battlefield 4 Second Assault?
So Second Assault is primarily 4 maps from Battlefield 3, all fan favorites, redone in Frostbite 3. Absolutely beautiful, bringing over tons of concepts from Battlefield 4, including Levolution. You're going to see a ton of those elements spread across all these maps.
Yeah.
Incredibly polished, great graphics, everything that Xbox One provides you, including 60 frames a second. It's a tremendous experience.
Yeah, of course, really awesome stuff. We're going to be checking out a couple of maps here, by the way. First up, we have CTF on Operation Metro. Then later on, we have, I believe it's going to be Rush on Gulf of Oman. And then there's going to be Obliteration on Operation Firestorm. And you also want to stay tuned because at the end of the show, we have an awesome, exclusive, brand new, never been seen before, Battlefield 4 Second Assault trailer for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the action. It's time to check out everyone's favorite, Operation Metro, Capture the Flag. Let's get it going. We have a couple of, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up my fancy controller here and see what we're going to check out. So tell me a little bit here about Operation Metro, Ben. What have been some of the changes that you guys have done to this map to just make it a little bit better?
Yeah, so the overarching theme here with Metro is, it's post nuke, right, in BF3. So you're seeing all of these elements completely redone. I mean, you see the rubble scattered everywhere, the debris outside, the park on the other side of the map is completely overgrown and deserted, and that carries into the Metro itself. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the devastation that players have wrought on this Metro over the past 2 years, right? So everything is torn apart. One of the great things that we have Levolution-wise is all the ceiling collapses that you're going to see spread throughout the center section that can be triggered by everything from gunfire or explosions to people just running up.
Happened, and you can actually see a couple of them scattered along the map. There's like portions of it that will tell you. Now, how does the player trigger those cave-ins?
Well, again, so as simple as gunfire, like you're bringing down these supports or the structure itself, the ceiling above. A lot of different ways to go about that, right? But you're going to see them just happen in battle, but you can be very tactical with them as well, right? So waiting for a player to turn around the corner, you shoot a couple beams, it'll collapse right in his head. Or say you want to advance into a tough section, maybe you're in rush and caught up. So you can you can throw a grenade, take it down, cover the entire section with smoke, and then advance through that cover. So a lot of different ways to use those things.
Oh, that's awesome. And then there are also other crazy stuff you guys added to the park section of Metro, which I think is pretty cool. Now, CTF, you're going to see a lot of these players really converging indoors, inside, and you also mentioned that the tunnel itself is flooded. So that's a nice little addition, seeing the water effects of Frostbite, of course, looking also gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you can see the player reactions in the water. The water is totally dynamic. We went a long way with the visuals in this tunnel section as well. Pulled back on the blue filter you saw in BF3 and really let this section shine. So it's absolutely gorgeous now. And when you've got all the Levolution on top of that, it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and then just to go back about the park real quick, so you guys actually added basically tall grass that you guys can burn, and that can show off new positions, and snipers can't really hide anymore. So for those of you who are snipers and always thought you would get away with it, not anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys like me have our revenge.
It's one of those things I think that really shined in the event a couple weeks ago on Caspian border. We have this tall burning grass because these areas are completely overgrown now. It made its way into Metro as well, and it's really fantastic in helping you advance, flush out the snipers, as you said. So, one of the favorite little sections, that tiny island in the water in the park section, well, that's covered with dry grass. So, launch an RPG over there, smoke the sniper out, now he no longer has cover. So it completely changes the way you play. It's a really nice addition to the park.
Yeah, obviously Metro has always been that fan favorite, or one of the most played maps. That's 100% for certain in Battlefield 3. So it's great to see that it's being brought back here and being kept true to the map itself. And I'm pretty sure as a designer, designer, you want to put all these crazy awesome moments like you have in Siege of Shanghai where, you know, a giant tower collapses, yet you reserved yourself this time around. It was like, well, we want to make this a little bit more intimate, right? Make the Levolution moments that much more important with the micro Levolution. Why go that route? Why not just add a giant building in the middle of the map and just have that fall down?
Well, so, I mean, we do go with some of those larger Levolution moments, you know, in Caspian, Gulf of Oman, you're going to see some of those. What we have here is more of an infantry-focused map, so we wanted to make sure that we maintain the core that people understand, but also change things up based on learnings and community feedback over the past couple of years, right? So, you know, we've added a couple of new routes to alleviate choke points. We threw in the elevators in that main section, a great flank there, absolutely cool. And, you know, with all the Levolution and stuff going on as well, you're going to get a completely different feel in Metro, but it's going to be truly familiar. So players that have been grinding in this map and enjoying it over the years are going to feel right at home, but everything that's new in here is going to make it feel fresh.
And then, of course, we're taking a look here at Metro, most importantly, but we are looking at Capture the Flag, which is something that is a first for Battlefield 4. I mean, of course, it wasn't Battlefield 3, and it's a game type that people really enjoy. I love Capture the Flag. I feel like it's just the standard when it comes to first-person shooters, and it also just has some of the greatest moments in gaming. Why bring back CTF, 1, and 2, any changes from BF3 CTF to BF4 CTF that players should know about when they hop into Second Assault?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we brought back CTF because we thought it would be a great fit for these particular maps, and you're going to get a lot of changes, right? It's going to be a very different experience going from Metro to playing it in CTF, where it's much more open and you have the vehicles to complicate things. It plays really well, and we've seen the application early on. We looked at a couple different game modes. We said, okay, this is the one for these maps.
Yeah.
Great match, first of all. And then in terms of enhancements, we went a long way to do things with like the UI, player feedback stuff, voiceovers, all of that to communicate the game mode a little bit better, so players will have a clearer understanding of exactly what's happening on the battlefield. So we feel like we've pulled that off, and it's an enhanced mode now. But it just plays so well in all these maps, so we're really excited to bring it back.
Yeah, and then in talking about the maps, you know, and how this particular game type and, you know, all the other game types, I know that that's a challenge, right? To be able to just balance it for, you know, we have CTF on Gulf of Oman versus CTF on Operation Metro, right? Like, it is substantially different. It plays much different. When you're looking into implementing this and making it balanced for each and every map, what are some of the challenges that you face as a developer, as a designer, to say, like, all right, we want to make sure that when players hop into Metro, they're going to get a CTF experience that they know and love, yet it's fresh for Metro versus what's going on in Gulf of Oman or Firestorm, for example.
Right. So a lot of it is spatial considerations, right? So with Metro, obviously, you've got the tight corridors, and you've got a little separation, right? Like one team starts below her in the Metro and one team starts up high. Yeah. So you have to kind of think about that. Like, all right, well, how are we going to make that work? Oh, maybe we have to add some new routes in order to make it a little bit more fair for the team that's starting down below. It certainly makes it really interesting. And then you know go for a larger map like Caspian. There are a lot of different features spread throughout that map that are very unique. So we try to combine all those together and look at the distances and everything else and weigh it and make sure that we're giving each team a really fair experience. So that's probably the biggest challenge, but in all the play testing we've done, we think we've really narrowed down what those spaces should be like, and players are enjoying it. We've had a good time here. Can't wait for everyone else to give it a shot.
Yeah, no, and for those of you guys who don't know, the players who are playing right now are actually DICE employees who are playing, and I just got to give a shout out to Legendary, because the dude's a beast. He's 25-7, and he's just tearing it apart. Legendary is actually one of the QA guys here, so he's just an animal, and I would not want to run into him in Battlefield.
No, I mean, just like anybody else out in the real world that's playing, 12 hours a day playing this game, they're going to give you a rough time.
Yeah, for sure. And then Mars. I'm sorry, Mears. I was going to say Mears. Mars actually 21-4. So we'll actually check out Mars in a little bit after they respawn here. But yeah, so I think that with these new games, these new maps releasing, and of course staying true, but at the same time being a unique experience to it. What is it for you as a designer to see all the players just hop back into it and try and do their usual techniques, yet have to, change it up a little bit? How does that make you feel as a designer to be like, you thought you were going to get away with that, what worked in BF3, but no, it's changed up this time? Or like, for example, the dry grass,
right.
like those elements. how does that make you feel as a designer to just
think
know
it's
that
great.
there's so many different elements?
Absolutely. And, I think the way that we approach it is, we didn't want to go in and say hard nerf anything. I mean, there are a lot of aspects of these maps that people love, and there, those same aspects other people might not enjoy. So we tried to put in, layers of complexity that would allow players to potentially deal with those things, but all driven through their own actions. And the burnable grass is a great example there. Another great example is the collapses here in Metro, right? I mean, you're coming around this corner. These are some of the most contentious corners in all of Battlefield, right? And have now points that you can, throw a grenade at, drop an entire ceiling down onto 4 or 5 guys that are holding that corner, give yourself some cover and move up. It changes everything. So it's really great that we were able to do that. And personally, I'm really proud that of all we've accomplished with these maps. Our primary focus was to make everything player driven.
Yeah, and then that's always super important, especially when you have things like Levolution, and when players hear about it, they're like, oh, that's something it's a dynamic map or whatever, and they feel like they're not in control of it or it's scripted. Right. But yet this time around, though, it's like, hey, you decide when this happens, and I think that's important, right, to give the player that kind of freedom to be able to make those decisions. So I guess, in your time of play testing the games, I'm sure you've played tested. Anything crazy that you've witnessed, only Battlefield moments that you've witnessed playing Metro again? And being like, man, this map still is fun, even from BF3 to BF4.
So many. I think one of my favorites, and we kind of anticipated this when we put it in, but the functional elevators now in this core section, just experiencing it for yourself the first time, going up that elevator, the doors open, you come out, there's 3 or 4 guys hugging the escalator and just absolutely destroying them with a shotgun, bringing down a ceiling on top of guys on your left. There are a few things that are more satisfying than that, and I'm excited for everyone else to give that a shot too.
Yeah, that's always a pleasure. And taking a look here at some of the action that's going on and seeing what we have right now with the score. So actually it's 0-0. No one has been able to cap a flag yet, which is quite surprising. Thought that we'd at least have 1 flag cap by now. We have about 1 minute and 50 seconds left here, and neither team has budged. This just shows, man. Again, Metro's back and forth as it always has been.
What's crazy, I mean, we played yesterday and it was 3-0, right? Yeah. So that shows you how Metro can go. I mean, these teams are super balanced. It's crazy contentious in here, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it seems like we do have a flagpole, though, that was made by the red team, so they might be able to actually make this one happen. Let's see, man. I mean, the opportunity, and look here. So the hallway that actually these players are walking through, there is a light in this hallway, but you can actually turn that off.
That's right. So this hallway, as well as a new one that we added across for it as a relief point, both have dynamic lighting in them. Okay. Players might have seen a little bit of that in some maps from BF4, but we wanted to push that specifically in Metro because we said, all right, let's make these already chaotic environments even more intense. And for me, I run around with a tack light a lot, and I wanted another opportunity to use that, especially in these close corridors, right? So go in, pop the lights, complete darkness, and then throw on your tack light, blind people real quick, take them all out, and then rush through the hallway. Great way to do it.
Yeah, it's like the mixing and matching of like what your attachments can be. Like you said, the tack light, for example, which has become pretty helpful to me in my time of play, because when I know that I want to try and stay at least a little bit hidden, and then bust out that tack light, they're like, "Whoa, what happened? My face!" Right. It's just blinding with sun. So that's obviously an awesome thing that you guys decided to implement into the game. And, I guess, of course, just staying true to what Metro is, a crazy, fast-paced map, yet at the same time, lots of variety to it. And Funk Static here is trying to actually do some damage, able to take out 2 players. Banana pancakes, most importantly. I love banana pancakes. Just want to emphasize that real quick. But yeah, so it seems like we're about to be closing out this matchup here, but taking a look at the scoreboard, Legendary 44-13. Why is he so good? I truly have no idea. But with that said, 0-0 tie. So it seems like we have a little bit of a challenge going on here at the DICE offices. These guys they're going at it. We still have 2 more, so plenty more opportunities for either one to be able to benefit with a victory.
It's going to be good. Somebody will get it.
Yeah, and of course, so talking about Second Assault, that is a part of Battlefield 4 Premium, and you actually have some involvement in Premium.
Right.
I guess, why don't you break down Premium for those who may not know what it is?
Well, so Premium is a fantastic service that we started delivering with Battlefield 3, and we're building on even more with Battlefield 4, right? So you're going to get all the expansion packs that are coming out. great new weapons and everything else that comes with that. But on top of that, you're going to get weekly content too, whether that's new camos or maybe a new knife. A lot of different opportunities to keep you engaged, each and every week. So Premium is a fantastic service. If you own Battlefield 4, absolutely recommend picking that up.
And I just want a golden knife. Is that a possibility?
We'll see what we can do.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, guys, Battlefield 4 Premium, of course, if you are a premium member, you do get Second Assault 2 weeks early. So it is a pretty awesome perk there, might want to check that out. So to learn more about Premium, we actually have a little trailer hooked up for you guys. So go ahead and enjoy. Ben, thank you so much for your time as always.
Thank you.
We have plenty more Second Assault action. We'll see you right after this.
We are super proud about Battlefield 3 Premium. We have over 4 million members in that club. But now, we're taking it to the next level.
Well, we really wanted Premium to be like this exciting and exclusive club for anyone who's ever played and loved Battlefield. As a gamer myself, I know how exciting it can be to get your hands on content early, and that's the experience that we really want to deliver with Premium. Because we're talking about content from day one with new updates every single week. We're going to get early access to all the new game modes, weapons, vehicles, and the expansion packs.
In China Rising, players fight for dominance across the majestic Chinese mainland. Revisit 4 fan-favorite Battlefield 3 maps in Second Assault, now revolutionized with the power of Frostbite 3. Experience dynamic ocean combat and naval strike as the Chinese Armada takes the fight to the sea, while the US strikes back with all-out urban warfare in Dragon's Teeth. And the war will reach its epic conclusion in Final Stand.
You're going to see the ideals of our team imprinted on each and every one of these levels.
This is just a taste of Battlefield 4 Premium, and we have so much more to show you in the months to come.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to our Battlefield 4 Second Assault live stream powered by AMD. I'm Alex Mendez, joined now by Dave Kittner, who is actually the lead lighter for Second Assault, which is pretty cool because you get to handle a lot of the artistic directions of it. And now, before we get into that, I actually did get a question from the Twitch chat, and I'm going to go ahead and bust it out here on my phone like I did at Gamescom and E3. It was from Stony X1, who actually asked, can you extinguish grass fires?
No, you cannot.
You cannot?
That's correct.
Okay, so there you go.
You can start as many as you want, though.
You can start as many fires as you want, but you cannot extinguish them because they'll just die out eventually.
They will die out.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's also very good to know. So now, of course, we're going to be taking questions from you guys out there in the chat and all the other social media, so make sure you're letting us know what kind of questions you want answered. And on top of that, make sure you stick around because at the end of this show, we're going to have an exclusive Second Assault trailer that will be airing exclusively here first. It's a big deal. Awesome. So I'm really excited about that. But okay, let's talk about you. Let's talk about lead lighter Dave Kittner. What is up there? What do you do exactly? What is your day-to-day like? And go ahead and explain as we jump into the action.
Sure. So what I do, my responsibilities are to take all the awesome artwork that our environment artists do and add the mood and the atmospherics to the world.
Okay.
So if we need it to be like super stormy and very rainy, or like in Gulf of Oman, we're gonna have like a sunny day followed by a Levolution event, which is very stormy. That's my responsibility. So setting the player in the mood and in this world to make it believable.
Okay, and then of course, just so you guys are aware, we're actually taking a look at Gulf of Oman Rush. So that's pretty cool here. Of course, if you guys are not familiar with Rush, there's multiple stages, 3 stages to be exact, and the attackers need to just basically make sure their tickets don't run out, and they have to arm the bombs, which actually seems like the A-bomb site has been armed. So let's see if the defenders are going to be able to do anything about that. But yeah, so lead lighter now, Gulf of Oman. Yep. This is this map in particular is very interesting because there you could see in the shot a sandstorm's brewing, and that's coming in, and that's it looks very ominous and very, very evil. So I guess tell us a little bit about this Levolution event, because this is a dynamic Levolution. This isn't something that's player driven.
That's correct. It's not player driven. So when you start the game, the sandstorms in the background is just growing.
Okay.
All right. So when we start the game, it's sunshine. You can still have great player visibility. You're running around, and dynamically after a certain amount of time, the sandstorm will start growing and moving in towards shore.
Okay.
And after a while, it's going to hit you, just punch you right in the face. It's going to limit visibility, limit spotting. It's going to limit the visibility for air vehicles, and just give you that chaotic and different kind of environment to play in.
Now, I know that as a person who loves art and just, wants to make everything look amazing, especially with Frostbite 3, looking so awesome as it is, how difficult must have been for you to kind of scale yourself back and be like, yeah, I want to make something, I want to make this look like the greatest thing in the world, but yet it could affect the players a little bit. I guess what were some of the challenges there?
Yeah, that was the biggest challenge, because when you're doing something like a massive sandstorm, obviously you look at reference first.
Yeah.
And you have all this incredible reference from African sandstorms, and I mean, visibility is just nothing. But you have to also take into consideration gameplay. So I'm there and I'm pushing the limits as much as I can, because Frostbite allows that, and it's looking really, very, very intense. But then you have, we'll have playthroughs, or we'll have, or I'll go to a designer and ask, what's your take on this? And he was like, whoa, you gotta back it up a little bit. We still need to play this game. Otherwise, I'd go full bore.
Yeah, you'll make it so that no one can see anything.
You'd be running around in circles shooting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess in with that said, though, all the other Levolution moments that are involved in and how that affects the game itself. I mean, that's something that really caught my eye when I first found out about this at E3. I really did enjoy the fact that there were these triggered events that would not just it wasn't just there. It wasn't something to make it look pretty. It actually had an effect on the map, and it really just changed it up and made it fresh and unique. So I guess with that said, when you're looking to implement those new features, like for example, we talked about the sandstorm here, but even as we'll see a little bit later in Operation Firestorm with the oil slicks, that that element where it just like fire just bursts out of nowhere and it builds up immediately, right? You obviously have to look at that from an artistic standpoint and be like, all right, I want the player to feel the dramatic impact of this right away. Sure. And how has that, I guess, impacted your view on how to make those moments that much better?
There's a lot of different elements that go into it. As an artist, like you said, you're trying to improve the player experience, but also make them feel something when they're, if you're real close to that fire, you want them to feel that heat. You want to alter the environment in some way and make them feel like, all right, I gotta stay away from this stuff, or use it against their enemy. And with the sandstorm, for instance, I mean, that's one of the things we really want to do, is make this whole gameplay a different experience. So you're going to be going from this, bright sunshiny day, like I said before, to this contrast storm, and it's just a completely different play style.
Yeah, and you had to really just put it in there so that, not necessarily so that gamers can look at it and be like, okay, now I know I have to play different, I have to react different to every situation. And also, I just wanted to point this out real quick, just because we were talking about it earlier, and it's funny. So those the tall grass, I just got to bring this back again. That actually can be lit by the engineer tool, the repair tool.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I just think that is so. You're just going to go up to someone, you see him like in the grass, you're like, yeah, I'm going to mess your day up. And then you just, instead of like roasting him with the repair tool, you roast the grass around him, and he's like, what happened?
It's a little more embarrassing to him too, also, right?
I know, right? That's insane. So now we're actually starting to see the sandstorm make its way through. A lot of debris falling all over the place, which is something I've noticed here, and that can be a little, I guess, distracting to the player in a sense where, with the sandstorm moving in, you're like, okay, now you have to be paying attention that much more.
Sure.
I guess with Frostbite 3. Did you feel like you had that creative freedom to be able to put that the debris flowing through there easily without not having any issues?
Absolutely. I mean, and we wanted to create that sense of chaos, right? So we wanted to have all this debris and paper that you normally find in the city brought up by this sandstorm. And not only does it bring up all this paper and the leaves from the trees, you can see it's blowing the trees and making them shaking the wind, but the sandstorm is also affecting things like lights inside the building. So it's making them swing and just making this whole world just a lot more dynamic to the player.
Yeah, and there's a couple other Levolution moments in this particular map in Gulf of Oman. I believe the crane here that you actually see Landis near, that actually falls down, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And so is that player driven, or is that?
It just started, so the wind will actually start shaking it, and then the player could actually hit the counterbalances.
Ooh, that's very nice.
So you can see it shaking right now.
Okay.
And here it goes, it's going to collapse.
Yeah, so there you can see the crane actually fall. That's actually a great shot, by the way. I just thought to point that out. That is pretty. That also is important to point out too, right? These elements, it's a good mix, right? It's not necessarily like, oh yeah, it's all player driven. Like how are you gonna queue up a sandstorm. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to push this button and a sandstorm appears. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And I guess what we're, in your opinion, just that challenge of saying, like, okay, we want to make sure that this moment here, that's player driven, but then the other parts, they're dynamic as soon as the map starts. And not get too carried away with like, all right, we're going to have everything be dynamic, right?
Right. So I mean, it's a little bit opposite of Metro, right? So Metro is a lot more player-driven Levolution events, while this is a good combination of two. Because what else, having a great weather effect is just a really cool gameplay aspect.
Yeah, of course.
It's a lot more fun to play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just creates that tension. So it seems like these guys are actually going to be the game time actually will end in about 4 minutes here, and they're at rush stage 2 of 3 right now. So this is the pressure is definitely going to be on the defenders to make something happen. So is there any other cool changes that have been made to Gulf of Oman in regards to like the specific game types, like how rush plays, and all that stuff?
So actually, we have a new landing at the beach. So we try to do like a little bit of a Normandy style. So this whole, the theme of the whole pack is to be a couple years after the war.
Okay.
So actually, on the beach landing, when you're coming from the Wasp or from the carrier, you're gonna have all these burned out and busted up vehicles. So we wanted to present this kind of Normandy, effect afterwards. So you're rushing up the beach towards the actual
And
city.
just so the players know, what stage does that happen at? What stage?
That's actually consistent through the
Consistent
from the
throughout the
beginning.
entire-
Yeah.
okay,
Yep. So
okay.
it's after the war. We have all these messed up vehicles, and this is the remnants of all this fighting that's been going on.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So it's important to just highlight like how you guys are trying to just implement different things into it, yet at the
Right.
same time, but again, make it fresh, because while Second Assault, these are maps that have been released before. It is important to highlight that these are fresh experiences. This is not what, this isn't like merely, we reskinned it to make it look futuristic, or we reskinned it to make it look like some Wild West map. No, like this is it's just dynamic,
Right,
and
right.
everything in there, it's really unique. So
And
I
we-
guess for you, what were you going to say?
I want to comment. Yeah, we also want to give that player, a
course.
different experience from the original map. We want to give them the same gameplay and all the great features that it offers, but just give them a little different aspect of it and different kind of, either different lighting and different, elements of the actual map.
And I guess my question to you is, which was your favorite map? What was your favorite map to work on in Second Assault for lighting?
It has to be Oman.
Oman,
It was
for
just
sure?
also because it was just the biggest challenge.
Okay.
I mean, it's not every day you get to make a sandstorm.
Yeah, of course.
And so when we came up with the idea, I'm just thinking, oh man, all right, this is going to be incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
But also it was an incredibly huge challenge. But our artists were up to the task, and they did an awesome job, and we all just made it come together. And I think it's going to be a really, really, really cool fan favorite.
And how is that like decided, right? Do you guys just all sit in a room and just like, okay, so we're doing Gulf of Oman again. What do we want to do? Giant sandstorm sounds good. Yeah, let's make that happen. Is that how it works?
No.
No. Okay. So I'm completely out.
No,
of the loop
it does a little bit. I mean, but as your previous guest was Ben, he's the lead designer, so we'd all get around the round table and try to do a little think tank, and we have to make this Levolution or this event realistic.
Yeah.
So we can't just have like a tornado rip through here or anything like that. So we want to have
that
some
would
sort
be
of.
cool.
It would be awesome.
That would be
I'm not
cool
really
to
sure
see.
if they exist in the Middle East though.
I don't think so, but just do it anyway.
That's
right?
true. Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
always an option, and that is our option. But we also want to, we thought it'd be really, really awesome to just have this massive sandstorm just rip through this area, because they do exist, and we haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah, and I guess
Or enough of them.
Or enough of them, which is more important, right? So it seems like right now we're at rush stage 3 of 3 now, and seeing what these guys are going to be doing, probably hoping to make their way over and trying to attack.
So that's a really cool view where the limits the spotting ability of snipers. Nice,
no.
done.
Oh man, that guy just got poor sniper. So how long does the sandstorm last for?
It lasts approximately, I believe, 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so after that, it's going to die down to like a post-storm kind of feel. So there will be some remnants of like wind going through, and still some dust, ripping across the sand, and leaves in the air. But it's not going to be as it's not going to limit visibility as it is now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
we want almost like 3 states. So we want like a calm, major storm, and then after the storm.
Okay. So there's different stages to it to give the player that feeling, give the player that experience, and I think that is also a great thing to note with how you guys have designed this, because again it kind of boils out down to, you know, like a unique experience, because that game will probably, the game could end during the sandstorm, or it could maybe even feasibly, which I don't know if that would be possible, for it to end before this, or like maybe at the start of it, or at the right before the storm hits, or something like that.
They're extremely good,
If they're extremely good, and just destroy the other team. But you also get that that post-disaster feeling too, which I
and we also want to take that into consideration. So we didn't want to have the player playing through a sandstorm the whole game, you know, because that get a little numbing after a while. So you want to have these kind of different stages and make it just a better experience overall.
Yeah. And I'm taking a look here at the defensive side now, as they're trying to make sure no one's creeping up on their bases, and they want to make sure that they can probably dwindle down their tickets. Actually, they only have 16 tickets remaining, 15, 14 now. They're just losing tickets left and right. This is not good for this team, for the attacking team by any means, actually. And Vatos Locos, just gotta give this guy a shout out, because he's yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so we won't talk about that much longer, but that is an awesome name. So,
Banana pancakes.
Yeah, but banana pancakes, like you can't go wrong with banana pancakes either. That is a great name. I mean, we all can't have cool names like legendary. You know, like that's just, we all can't be that
earned.
guy. Yeah, it's earned, right? It's not, you're banana pancakes until you become legendary. So I guess in closing out with all this, we only have like one ticket remaining here for this team, but you know, besides Gulf of Oman, anything in particular that you did and you're just like, you know, I'm really proud of how we implemented that. Like, for example, Metro with the lighting and how you took away the hue, the bluish hue in the last one, and made it look a little bit, you know, different and a fresher feel.
Yeah, we wanted to go a little bit more natural with it, you know, and just make it give it what the fans wanted. Also, I'm really proud of Caspian. Caspian turned out to be an amazing.
Caspian's awesome.
Yeah, great fall feeling, setting. I mean, that's also going to be a real fan favorite.
Yeah, I just love how the tower, you know, then just kind of like sparks up, right? Nice. We had a chance to see it at the BF4 showdown in London, and the tower just sparked up, and I was just like, oh my god, that is like so cool, like such a great visual feel.
We're really proud of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it so much, guys. Well, we have much more to come. Make sure you guys stay tuned though, because again, at the end of the show, we have an exclusive launch trailer of Second Assault. Hasn't been seen yet. Your eyes will be the first one to check that out. And then, of course, we have more awesome Second Assault content to check out. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Second Assault live stream powered by AMD. I'm Alex Mendez, more commonly known as Golden Boy, and joined with me right now is Dave Serlin, who is the live producer. Dave, how you doing?
Good.
Over here for Battlefield 4 Second Assault. Now, what is? I've been asking everyone. I asked Ben. I asked the other Dave. What goes into the day in the life of a live producer?
The day of a live producer is I own the quality of the live environment, basically.
Okay.
But for Second Assault, I worked a lot of CTF and UI.
Okay.
So a lot of that, and persistence as well.
So what is that? What is persistence?
Persistence is all the awards and trophies and dog tags and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then in the end, I also worked on the premium stuff, the drops that we were going to have.
Okay, very nice. So you just make sure everything looks pretty.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what I'm gathering. Right?
High quality. That's
High quality. Well, speaking of pretty, we actually have Operation Firestorm. That's going to be going on right now. We're going to be playing some Obliteration, which is one of my favorite game types from Battlefield 4. So let's actually just jump right into it, because we might as well. We can't let it go on any longer.
No, it's so much action, right?
As we saw at the Battlefield 4 showdown, Obliteration was just insane. And when you had some great players playing in Obliteration, it just makes it that much more entertaining. Most importantly, to highlight here, Operation Firestorm, what new changes have been made to this map? We've been talking about the new changes in every single map that we've been showing here for the live stream.
Yeah.
What is different about Operation Firestorm?
So we looked at this map and wanted to fulfill the promise of the original map, but we also wanted to add a lot of tactical elements to it. I would almost call it tactical evolution, because it's all these macro evolution events that you trigger as a player. It's a lot of player-driven evolution events here, and you can use them to your advantage. In a game mode like this, where you have something that you have to carry to a specific point, you can really utilize that in, burning the guy next to you because you let the oil slick on fire underneath you.
Yeah, and then the oil slicks actually can be triggered by just shooting it, or just like
Or a grenade, or the little
or
burner.
repair to the burner, which is very nice. So actually, I did get a couple questions from the live chat here. So you know, make sure you guys keep them coming. This would probably cover what we were talking about before with Gulf of Oman with the sandstorm. And I don't know what you feel about this, but you know, does the flying get affected with the sandstorm levolution?
Well, it gets affected in the sense that you can't
Invisibility.
see much. Like, it's really hard to see anything.
Okay.
And also spotting distances are shortened a bit. So
Okay.
it's get affected enough from that. It doesn't
and
really
that was
affect
actually the second
controls.
question I was going to ask you, right? About do spotting mechanics change? This actually came from Rising Legend 13 on Twitch. He says, do spotting mechanics change when the sandstorm comes in?
Yeah.
So they do change.
Yeah, slightly.
Okay, so basically the distance of which you can
Exactly.
spot changes.
So you have to be closer to get that.
Okay,
spot.
interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So what? And then the big levolution moments in Firestorm here. Is it one of those where you expect something like a giant firestorm, or a giant sandstorm, excuse me, or is it you know, more micro focused?
No, it's more of the micro ones, like the one you see. Well, you just saw the oil derrick on fire there, and we have some other things like a gas main that you can explode.
Yeah.
And also there is one of those cranes that can fall over, which is also player triggered.
Okay, so unlike in Gulf of Oman, where the crane falls because of the storm, this time around players have control over a crane.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, people just like to drop cranes. Why not?
I mean, it's fun.
Just do it, you know. Just create more carnage and explosions. Why not? It's Battlefield. That's what we do. I guess, and that's brutal. That guy ended up getting murked there. So that we're not going to talk about that for a second. But so I guess in this map in Operation Firestorm, what are some of the things that you have enjoyed the most in seeing this map develop in Frostbite 3, being just, you know, brought over from BF3? What have been some of those things that you're like, man, I really like what they changed and what they added?
I mean, this is a sniper map in some sense, right? You have a lot of sniping, long distance sniping spots.
Okay.
And the fires here, they put out this beautiful black smoke. They kind of, you know, cover you if you don't like being sniped all the time. So you can kind of decide if you want to be seen in an area or not by turning the fire on.
That's nice. That's actually a pretty cool addition there to be able to
Yeah,
get
and I
that
really like
cover.
that because I like that cover.
And also, I just don't like snipers.
Well,
Snipers and me don't get along
they're also
very well.
people, you know.
No, well, I like the people are cool, but the snipers, you know what I mean? Because I'm a victim way too much. I'm a victim.
Yeah, I get you.
But in all seriousness, though, I love. We had a chance to check this out yesterday, and I love the fact that this is one of those maps that's, you know, obviously very vehicle focused.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, that is one of the bread and butter things about Battlefield. While I love the controls, and personally infantry gameplay for me is it's spot on, amazing. Vehicles, that is it in Battlefield, you know. So I guess in looking here, adding some of the new things here, I mean, for the most part, the vehicles are relatively the same, you know, as far as like what they do function-wise. Like, hey, one flies, one's a tank, you know, you have cars and whatnot. But you know, then you add the levolution moments. Do any of them affect the vehicle play? Like, for example, the oil slicks. If you roast an oil slick right below the tank,
you take damage from oil slicks slowly. I mean, if you're in a tank, for instance.
Okay.
So you don't want to really stay on them, right?
Yeah, or you don't.
And since you can't see that well through them, you kind of want to get away from them as well.
You're not
so
impervious.
they changed the path that you can take, but they also changed the way you play and identify your next target.
Very nice, very nice. And now I know that you handle a lot of the UI stuff. I know that is something that you're very passionate about.
Yes.
Let's talk about this for a second, because you guys added CTF in.
Yes.
And that was a whole overhaul, right? I mean, it is similar to Obliteration. It's a pickup game type, but what kind of things did you add in there for the player to be able to know, okay, flag's here, I got to return it, things like that? So
CTF, the version of CTF we have, 2 flags CTF, is tricky because you have 2 pickups, right? In Obliteration, you have 1 bomb. It's either red, white, or blue, depending on who owns it at the current spot. But in CTF, you can have both flags taken by either team. And that's really key to get people to understand which one is my flag, which one should I go after and kill, and which one should I defend. Right, so that we spend a lot of time on that, and sound is actually a big factor in that too.
Really,
like the VO callouts help you a lot.
Okay. Very nice, very nice. And then I guess with the CTF2, I noticed in Operation Metro that when the flag was down, it had a domination-looking, or excuse me, or I played
Conquest.
domination. Sorry, conquest-looking return counter on
Yes,
it.
it does.
So you added that into that as well.
We did. So basically, you have a little radius where if you're on the friendly team, you go into that radius to capture it home quicker. And the more people you are, the quicker it goes. So it has a little scale
Just like
there.
in Conquest.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, the other team can pick it up immediately. So
Yeah.
you have to defend that area, and it creates tension. So you have 2 tension maps or tension points on the map.
Yeah, and of course the flag, just to reiterate this, the flag needs to be home in order
Yes.
for you to capture it.
Absolutely.
Right, so that is something that you got to highlight in there. And the time to return the flag, it's varies because of the amount of people. But if like it's one
Exactly.
person, it'll probably be like 10 seconds or something like that, I'm assuming.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah, we adjusted that a lot.
We'll just. No, I completely understand. And taking a look at some of the action here, by the way, just got a highlight here. Got to go to my boy Legendary.
Yeah,
who-
you're always going to look at that guy.
He's just too good. But wait a minute, Funk Static. Okay, this guy is actually doing a little bit better than
really?
than Legendary right now.
Good job, Funk Static.
Yeah, right. Even though Legendary, he just looks for people and then just decimates them. So
He likes
it's,
vehicles though, so this is one kind of a map for him.
oh really?
He's a vehicle guy.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't know, but looking
I
at
wouldn't
the Metro
know
score,
from the
but-
fact, yeah, exactly, that he went 44 and like whatever in Metro. So
Yeah.
definitely can't tell there. Oh goodness. But okay, so we actually did get a couple more questions in. This one came from iRocketF off of Twitter, and he says, "What made you choose the maps that are featured on Second Assault? What was the thinking process behind that?"
So we asked the community, of course, and we looked at stats and what maps are popular.
So Metro was there from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it is a highly contested map, right? Some people
Yeah.
love that map, and some people doesn't love it as much, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it has to go in there because it's one of the favorite maps.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of Metro.
I like Metro too. I like my Metro.
Yeah, I love infantry play, right? So
Yeah.
now I have Operation Locker, and now I have Operation Metro. I feel very happy just
It
because.
should be. And the new park area in Metro,
Yes.
I love that. Obliteration on Metro is in the park area.
Why? Oh, so wait. So Obliteration of Metro is in the park area, not inside of the tunnels. Interesting. Why do that?
It just really plays well in that area. And you're used to playing it in Rush, and it's one directional, and now it's 2 directional, and well, all directions really.
Yeah.
With all the grass fires, and it just gets really chaotic the way Obliteration should be. I really like that. mode on that map.
Obliteration is just insane, as we're seeing right now. Which, by the way, the red team currently down. They actually no, they're currently up. They have 1 bomb site remaining. So let's see here if they're going to be able to make that happen. But taking a look, man, Mars, he is just tearing people apart inside. Just picked up a bunch of kills. It's like, no care in the world, right? Just go for it. So, okay, here's a cool part that I always was very interested in. So the bomb, right? When you pick up the bomb in Obliteration, and the red that basically is just shining, as you can see clearly right here. Was that more or less to tell the player, hey, you're carrying the bomb? Or
Yes.
was it to just show the other guys, like, this dude's running with the bomb.
It's
He's
both.
a giant glowing thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's both, of course. I mean, it's really important if the objective is, the centerpiece of the game mode, it needs to be known where it is and what you're supposed to be doing. So to help new players and, players like me who forgets things now and then, we really need to see it, right? We need
Yeah.
to see it in the world. So that helps. And also, I mean, the red light is more for you, actually, because you see it clearly on your arms. Oh, what is this? Oh, I'm carrying, okay.
Yeah.
Because, it can get really hectic, and your friend that you ran behind can die, and you just automatically pick it up, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be really clear.
I'm really disappointed right now in
Yeah,
QT.
he's missing.
He's missed like that was a clear shot.
It's like
the guy
me
hasn't
sniping.
even moved, honestly. He's
Yeah,
just-
look at that.
He's
What if
just
he's like, I'm going
now
back
he
and
has a
forth.
buddy there, and he's just gonna keep on missing.
Yeah.
Mind you, these are dice
he
people,
not
so we
trying?
can
What
make
is
fun of
this?
them.
Come
And then he just points. He's like, you know what? Forget that guy. I don't
That
like
guy.
him. That guy, mean dude. And you know what, Killer T, you had your moment to shine.
Yeah, well,
Back
shine,
to
I don't know.
legendary.
Yeah, let's go back to Legendary.
Oh goodness, man! That's just some of the things that I love. It's funny because I was, I go on YouTube all the time to check out a YouTuber, Chaboy, to check out his hilarious clips and just the moments that he has, and I can't wait to see what he does with like funny moments in this in this Second Assault maps. It's just insane. That's just one of the things I love about Battlefield. You just get so many crazy things you just laugh at. And it's
Absolutely.
entertaining.
And I mean, this map, normally you spawn really far away in this game mode, but we have this parachute drop-in
Really?
added to this map, which, gets you right in there quickly.
Yeah,
and of course the 5-man squads helps as well.
Of course, and I love the fact that joining squads are fairly simple. So I could just go like, you know what, all my friends all together, we're gonna make a new squad, and we're gonna be the best squad in the world. So that's just what I do. And it seems like annoying assert now is trying to snipe. You know what?
Let's pick the sniping, the first day of sniping when we have this stream, right?
I think DICE employees, you know, maybe we got to work on their sniping skills just a little bit. You know, hit up some of the guys out there that know how to snipe and give them some tips.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah,
right?
I think so too.
You're a sniper, right?
I totally not a sniper, but
totally
I
not
know
a sniper.
how to
No,
snipe
okay.
though. I know how I can snipe better than that.
Whoa! Shots fired. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that we know that that's going to be the case, we have to put that to the test eventually. Again, you know, just talking here about Second Assault, guys. If you're just joining us, just want to reiterate that you should stick around because at the end of the show, we are going to have an awesome Second Assault trailer exclusive. Your eyes, first time seeing it, it's going to be awesome stuff. But we have about 50 seconds left in it, so in this particular matchup. So I guess I got to ask you, Dave. I asked this to the other Dave and Ben. Favorite map in Second Assault?
Favorite map is this map. I love this map.
This is your favorite map.
And I'm an infantry guy, right? So
Okay.
I like the dragon of the tank coming to kill me. And in this map now, there's so many places to hide from me. Being the engineer that I am, you know, I want to mine them. I want to.
So you're an NG too?
Yeah.
Oh man, we're brothers, dude. I'm an NG all the time, and I'm just there like repairing stuff, and then no one appreciates me because like I'm there making sure you look good. I feel you, man. We have to.
You have the torch now. You can start fires with the torch, man. It helps.
I know. I feel good about that. That makes me so happy just because I can go and just burn tall grass.
Yeah, who doesn't want to burn things?
Yeah. So you heard it here first, guys. Who doesn't want to burn things? But in any case, so that is going to do it. It seems like the blue team has managed to secure themselves a W here. So I guess, with that said, I want to ask you, any last words for the people at home who, are like, I don't know, should I get Second Assault or not? What do you have to say to those doubters?
It plays awesomely. Go buy this. I would.
Boom. That's it. It's over. Oh, man. Well, Dave, I want to thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it, guys. And, of course, that is going to do it for us here at the DICE LA studios. It's been a blast. I'm really looking forward to checking out Second Assault. It's gonna be great, right? Yeah. Just take a blowtorch and just destroy some grass.
Start some fires.
Start some fires. That's all you got to do. But beyond that, though, play the game. It's going to be awesome. Play Second Assault. And of course, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in here to the Battlefield 4 Second Assault live stream powered by AMD. Now, just a few tidbits for you guys. If you're going to look to get Second Assault, comes out first on Xbox One, November 22nd, and you can get it later on PC. Like I said before, we have an awesome trailer that will be debuting right now this second. So go ahead, watch it, enjoy, share it on the social medias and all that stuff. I'm Alex Mendez, more commonly known as Golden Boy for Dave, and everyone else here on the DICE team. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
For 2 years, we've listened to the tales of our fellow soldiers, but the war has changed, and with it, the stories. Stories of men being swallowed up whole in the flooded bowels of Metro, or never emerging from the fiery hells of Operation Firestorm. We've listened to the legends of entire armies being decimated by a single strike along the Caspian border. Sandstorm so fierce in the Gulf of Oman, it's like you're fighting ghosts. For 2 years we've heard these stories. Listen to the legends. They say this is a war that cannot be won. We'll put that theory to the test.